ProfitDig, sitting here talking to my good friend Jeff Spencer.
What's up, Jerry?
Jeff, how you doing?
I'm great, man. How you?
I'm doing good.
Good.
So, Jeff, I had this question in my head. You know, we emphasize maximizing your profits and always making sure you hit your profit margins.
Right.
We've talked about that lately. But is there a downside if you push it too far? If you try to inflate your profits more than the job calls for, is there a downside to taking that approach?
Well, yeah, and I think where you're going with this would be more or less before you award the project, when you're in like bidding and negotiation stages.
Yes, in the bidding phase.
And when you get to that point, you may have a good feeling about it. You may think you may be getting some good questions or some positive feedback on your bid, but you're in negotiation stages, and you just got to be cautious because you can price yourself out of a job. Mm-hmm. And you don't ever want to be too greedy. You want to be able to look at a project and give someone a number you're comfortable with, and when there's changes that come about, there may be addendums and stuff that come up, and this contractor may be reaching out to you or this owner or whoever you may be bidding to, asking a lot of questions. Well, at that point, especially if you're not a seasoned estimator or project manager, you may be to a point where like you get over anxious. You're overzealous. Like, I've got this. They're calling me. They're asking me questions. I'm in the front runner here.
So even if it's I guess that if it's a situation where you think, okay, you've got the job, mm-hmm. but you can still price yourself out of the job.
Oh yeah, and it's you need to stick true to what you started with. It's like my dad told me years ago when I first got into estimating. He's like, when you put together a price, 9 times out of 10, you need to stick with that price. Mm-hmm. When you start second guessing yourself is when you go wrong. You can price yourself out. One of the two things you can do, you can either go too cheap and cost yourself money because mm-hmm. you want this job too bad, and that's never a good stage to be in. You don't want to be in a desperation stage to where you feel like that you have to cut your own throat to get a project. And then the other thing is, it's like, hey, I've got this job. And when changes come about or anything else, and they're contacting you in the negotiation, have some buffer. Be willing to give a little bit if you need to, and also, don't overprice your changes. Whenever something comes up and we're going to do something different, I'm a firm believer in giving some money back, but it's okay not to give it all back. Mm-hmm. But you got to know what your limits are, because if not, you're going to end up losing that job, and then you could create a bad relationship between you and this potential ongoing relationship with this construction company you're dealing with.
So if you get overly aggressive that first time around, that could cost you business down the line, because they may have a negative impression of you, that you're trying to take advantage of the situation.
And there again, if you're dealing with a seasoned professional, they're going to see through that. They're going to know, like, hey, this guy, he's not willing to work with us. He's more about the money than he is about helping us get this project online.
So you should price the job fairly, give yourself a little bit of leeway to negotiate, but don't try to take advantage of the situation to pad your profits.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Good advice, Jeff. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Jerry.
All right.